Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice. Simple steps for showing up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. I am grateful to be with you today. I'm kind of excited about the topic of this episode, and I hope you are too. I hope you find value in the episodes that I release and the things that I share. I hope you're applying these principles to your life. These, after all, are simple steps to show up in your life. They're little nuggets that can be applied on a daily basis. Now, do I expect you to do all whatever we are, 125 episodes? There's probably 100 and something nuggets in there. No. Are you going to be able to apply sprinkled and peppered throughout your life? Yes. And I hope you're doing that. I hope you're finding value in these episodes because I find value in doing them. I enjoy doing them. Sometimes it's monotonous and sometimes it's a lot of work, but overall I do enjoy doing it. And how many conversations I have had by way of these episodes. So I hope you're finding value because I aim to give value. What I want to share with you today comes by way of an experience, comes by way of a game that I was playing with my 3 and 5-year-old son. So when we're driving, we like to play I Spy. If you've never played this game or are not familiar with this game, you spot and say, I spy with my little eye something that's red. And everybody else in the car has to try and guess whatever it is that they're referencing, whatever thing that is of that color. And you go around in circles. It's a lot of fun for little kids. And it's our way of keeping them off tablets. They get tablets from time to time. They get cell phones from time to time to play games, especially on longer drives. But if it's shorter or on a long drive to give them a screen break, we play games. We play the alphabet game. Can you find things that start with those letters? Or I Spy. Our 3 and 5-year-olds currently are loving to play I Spy. So we were driving to an event the other night as a family. And my 5-year-old says, I want to play I Spy. And we said, okay. So he points out, I see something orange. And we point out the very obvious thing because he's 5. We get it. And then the 3-year-old says, I spy with my little eye something blue. It's the car in front of us. And then I go out and say white and go around the car, right? And you understand the gist of the game now. And I had a very, very, very high number of wins compared to the rest of the car. My 3 and my 5-year-old would really just wait and hesitate and then pinpoint every so often a guess. But they would only guess if they were fairly certain they were right. And they would ask for hints and they would ask for things to kind of sway what answer they wanted to do. But by and large, they didn't give a whole lot of answers. And my wife was the same way. She would give answers, but wouldn't be firing off answers. And so when my son said, I see something red, I would instantly fire off. The stoplight, the light in front of our cars, or the lights on the cars in front of us, the cars themselves, the stop sign, that building, that sign, the lights in the car, the dash. And I would just start firing off and they'd keep saying, no, 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 until finally I got to a yes. And as we're playing this game, my son points out how many times I am winning compared to everybody else. And I'm always looking for these little moments of education to give to my kids. They don't happen very often. So when they pop up, I try and take that opportunity to teach them a principle or teach them a lesson. They're 3 and 5. And I have been criticized. I would say that's probably not so much as criticized. But I've been told, why are you teaching them these fairly complex principles at such a young age? Because your unconscious mind does not lose things. It stores it permanently. So I want to embed and imprint thoughts, ideas, patterns, characteristic traits based off of sound, winning principles. Keywords, sound and winning principles. Not just anything. We try and have them watch educational academic things. We try and have them read things, learn things. Most books that we read at night are either scriptural in reference or learning in reference. Our sons love nature, so they learn a lot about animals and weather patterns. They think that kind of stuff is awesome. Therefore, we read about tornadoes and earthquakes and lizards and birds of prey and big cats and house cats. They learn about all kinds of animals and weather things, and it's kind of flooring how much they remember. So I teach them these principles, and I stopped the game and I asked my 5-year-old, do you know why I am winning more than everybody else? And he sits back and thinks about it and says, well, no. I said, I'm winning more than everybody else because I'm getting more no's. I am guessing more. The world would say I'm failing more, but in fact, I'm learning more because I'm learning what it is not, or learning what didn't work. I'm learning more. And then as I learn more and gain clarity, perspective, and experience, I am then able to deduce the answer, get to the yes. It's the law of probability. The more you get of something that is opposite of what you want, at some point you'll get what you want. If you get 100 no's, at some point you're going to get a yes. So get as many no's out of the way as possible. Simply put, law of probability. At some point you'll win. If you're always constantly waiting to take the shot until you have a surety that you'll actually hit it, you have a lower probability on compared to the person that just takes the shots over and over and over and over. There's an old story, whether it's true or not, it's not really relevant, but it is a cool analogy by way of this. There was a pottery class at a college university, and the professor said, split the class into two groups, Group A and Group B. He told Group A, I want you to make the very best pot. Your entire grade is based on one pot. You need to make the best pot on planet Earth. And based off how good that pot is your grade. And then he took class B, Group B, and said, your grade is based purely on numbers. The more pots you make, the better your grade. Whoever makes the most pots, or when you get beyond a certain denomination of pots, that's based off your grade. And they worked through the semester. Group A was meticulous, curating, studying, researching, manipulating these pots, trying, and just really refining the single pot the entire semester. Whereas the other group was just cranking pots all day long, every day, turning out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pots a day. Well, by the end of the semester, Group A turned in their pots, and they were very gorgeous and very beautiful. Group B, on the other hand, their pots, one, they had magnitudes of order over Group A, of single. They had hundreds of pots. But their pots from the beginning were pretty crappy. As they progressed, they got better and better and better and better. And by the end, their pots floored, crushed, annihilated team or Group A, purely because they got skill, they got practice, and a lot of it. That's what you do in sales. That's what you do in business. That's what you do in life. The more experience you gain, because after all, you are a sum of your experiences, the more experience you gain, the more skill you can harness, hone, and sharpen, the better you'll become. That comes by way of getting a lot of no's. The world would call this failing. You have a quote from Denzel Washington, very, very, very famous, about failing forward, falling forward. Fall soon, fall fast, fall forward. And how important it is to get those no's. One, it teaches you resilience, but you learn what didn't work. And as you ponder and curate, those are so necessary to this winning game. Just getting no's for the sake of getting no's is not the point. This is not just knocking doors and getting them to say no as fast as you can. This is pondering and reflecting on the previous experience that you just had. What didn't work? What did work? And how can you adapt moving forward? That kind of no is a learning. A previous no and just say whatever to get them to say no, that's not the point. And if that's what you're thinking, That's not it. But it's so vitally important to understand this pondering and reflecting. I was talking to my wife this morning about journaling, and for most of my life, I sucked at journaling. I was a Christian missionary. I was really good for that 2 years. I journaled every single day. I made it a goal to do it. I did it. And then afterwards, as being a missionary, a Christian missionary, I never really journaled. Post that 2 years, so in 2010, May 2010, from then on, I sucked at it. I tried to journal here and there. I'd write in it for a day or two and then fall off the wagon for several years. Until finally, January 1st, 2019, I had committed from here on out, I am a journal writer. I write in my journals. And that's what I've done ever since. Today, what day is today? May 15th. I know this comes out in June, but right now, as the time of this recording, it is May 15th. I have 100% success rate. Every day is accounted for since January 1st, 2019. Pretty cool, right? So over 6 years of daily journaling. It's something like 2,300 journal entries. Every day is accounted for. And at first, I was handwriting. Took a long time, so I pivoted over voice to text three-quarters of the way through 2019, and I've been doing voice to text ever since. And then I print those journals to physical hardbound books, and they're super cool, and I cherish them. But I learned very soon after I started doing voice to text, I did it every day. I started pondering about the previous day. I started reflecting and learning and growing. And during those learning and growings, I received downloads. I received impressions. I received revelations, answers to my prayers, answers to problems in life, answers to things I was pondering about. They came when I journaled. Now think about how much of a fire lit under me to make sure I journal every day. That is where most of my impressions come from, is when I journal. And I constantly tell my brother, hey, I was journaling this morning and I thought about this for our project. Hey, I was journaling the other day and pondering about our problem here. I think we should try this. I relay that to him quite often, and how important it is on the reflection. That's why getting all these no's when I'm playing this game with my son, I'm saying all these guesses because I'm gaining experience, gaining skill, reflecting, learning, and I deduce to the answer of yes. And then I win the game. In life, the more no's you get and reflecting and learning on those no's, the more you will hit yes, the more you will win, the more you get to where you're trying to go. I want you to input this into your world. I want you to ponder, think, curate, and install this. Where are you missing the pondering? Where are you not getting enough no's? Where are you not asking enough questions? The fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of looking stupid, the fear of your ego getting smashed. It all needs to go out the window. That's really what it is. It's those things. Asking the question, the dumb question. Asking, is this right? Telling them, I have no idea. Will you educate me? Moving forward, learning. That is what I want to get across on this episode today, is learning through pondering and experience. And then as you do that repetitiously over and over and over again, getting as much as you can in as small amount of time as you can, as acutely as you can, you'll get to your win. Like this thing, subscribe to it, download for future listenings, share this episode for you. I want you to share it for you. Give this episode as a gift to somebody you feel like would learn from it. This show only grows because of you, and it is growing, and I'm grateful for you for sharing. It is awesome. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.